Hello friends, I welcome you all to this online session of a compulsory English. In the last session, we have already started discussing a module on note making and note taking. In the last session, we discussed about the definition of note making and note taking, and we have also started discussing what are the important factors that are necessary in note taking. We discuss defining the purpose. It means when we were taking the notes, we should define that why we were taking the notes, and we should check out the certain points that indicates the purpose of the note taking. So this is the important point. Then second, we learn that being attentive. Of course, yes. In note making, we were reading. However, in note taking, we also discuss about the difference between note making and note taking. So in note taking, we are supposed to discuss, or we are supposed to understand that we should be attentive one. We were listening. So in note taking, we should listen carefully and then try to write the notes or take the notes. Then we learn about relating to the syllabus. So we must relate what we were learning or what we were listening to the syllabus that is prescribed to us, to the course that we were learning. Then making it memorable. This is also very important thing, that many times in hurried way we take the notes and we forget. Afterwards we also use different symbols, and afterwards we forget that why we were drawn this kind of symbol at this point. So you should make this memorable. Note taking should be memorable. Afterwards when we were reading notes, we should be able to understand that, or we should be memorize what we have written in that particular point. So making it memorable is also very important. It requires a sincerity in note making. Then being logical, we must note the points in some logical order. So there should be a logic in your note taking. We should not write each and every word that is spoken by the speaker, but we should be a logical in note taking. We should take the notes which are important, and there should be a specific logical order in it. Otherwise, what happen if we write it down irrelevantly or without any logic? Afterwards it becomes very difficult for us to interpret the notes and understand the matter that we are supposed to memorize at the time of examination or at the time of interview. Then being objective, this is also very important point we discussed in the last session, that it is necessary to be objective while studying. Instead of relying on the opinions, prejudices, we should be objective one. We should think in a rational light, instead of a subjective understanding or subjective perception. We should be a very objective one. We should consider others opinion. We should consider others thought, and we should not apply the prejudices that we have in our mind regarding the speaker, regarding the topic. So this is important thing. So it is likely that we have a special liking for a particular topic or a particular person, and as a result of that, we it also reflected in the note taking. Instead of that, we should be an objective one, but our personal preferences should not reflect in our act of note taking. So this is a very important thing that we should note in our mind while taking notes. We should be an objective one. Regardless of the topic or the person, we must be able to focus on learning. So this is what we should keep in our mind while taking the notes. Then being flexible. We know every teacher has his or her own teaching style. In view of this, we must be flexible enough to adapt to different teaching styles of different teachers. Many times you also observe few of the teachers write on a blackboard, few of them never use blackboard, few of them read aloud in the classroom, few of them reject idea of reading, may, or few of them even dictate you certain notes. So there are several, or you can see, according to teacher, from or teacher to teacher, teaching style is different. So we should be flexible one regarding note taking, and when we were flexible we can easily take the notes from any teacher. Then asking questions, this is also very important point here, that teaching learning method is in fact an interactive process. It is not one way. So there is the two poles, that one is the input and another is intake. So input is what teacher is teaching you, and what is intake, intake is what you are learning. So and there is, and this bridge, this gap of input and intake is bridged by the note taking and note making. So while taking notes, in case we come across a difficulty while listening to a particular point, or we must not hesitate to ask questions to our teacher at the time of lecture, or otherwise we may miss that point. So we should not miss that point. We should be very particular in taking that point. We should ask teacher to stop or slow down, or ask clarification, and then take it in your notes. So we should not leave any doubt uncleared or any question unanswered. So we should be, and therefore I am telling you that it should not be only in one way. It should be interactive one. Students should ask questions to the teachers. If they don't, or if they have doubts, it should be cleared in the classroom. So this is what interactive session is important, and interactive session asking questions is also very important. Then collaborating with peers, this is again a practical hack or practical tip for you while taking notes. Although we are listening to the lecture independently, it is very useful to discuss the key points with our peers and compare notes. And when we compare notes, you can understand that we came across that few of points that we have skipped has been noted by the your peer, or many times it may happen that peer has skipped certain points and you have mentioned the date. So you should compare the notes and make it perfect. So collaborating with peers is also very important. This is a practical tip for you. Then being brief, this point is very important. Being brief, note taking means not taking all the things or all what is said by the speaker. Note taking should be a very brief one, abridged one. Brevity is the key to note taking, or the we should not note each and every point as it is discussed. We should write it in gist. We should note down, we should point out certain things that are important. We should not, for example, if teacher is clarifying you one concept and he is going on adding certain several examples, so instead of noting several examples, you should note down only one example that is significant or that is easy to understand. So this is what you should keep in your mind. We must note down the significant aspects only. We should not note down the jokes he has cracked while teaching, or the his communication with other students. We should not do all these things. We should be very brief, and this brief afterwards should tell you what exactly you have written or what exactly the speaker was speaking at the time of lecture. So let us now discuss about the methods of note taking. So all these points are important that we have learned in the last session and in this session. That defining the purpose, that we should define the purpose of note taking. Being attentive, as we were listening and noting down or taking the notes, we should be attentive to the speaker. We should be sincere in listener. It is a very important skill in note taking. Then relating to the syllabus, we should relate the speaker's speech to the syllabus that is prescribed to us, and for that we have to jotting down the important or significant point in connection to the syllabus. Then making it memorable, we should make the notes memorable, that afterwards when we read it we can interpret the actual meaning of the notes. Then being logical, there should be a logical order in it. Then being objective, we should not be a subjective while dealing with the note taking. We should not be prejudiced about the speaker, we should not be prejudiced about the subject which is taught. So we should be an objective one, we should be a flexible one, we should be flexible according to the teacher's style. Asking question, the session should be interactive one, we should ask questions, we should ask clarifications. uh, and then collaborating with peers, we should compare the notes of others and try to make it perfect. And the last point we discuss is the brief, being a brief. So we should be a brief in note taking. So this is what we learned in the last session, and in this session also we discuss certain new points. So now let us discuss about the methods for note taking. There are no separate methods for note taking. However, some methods can be used for convenience. So this is a very important thing to note, that note making. You may think or you may feel that why should we learn the methods of note taking? We have already doing it for several years. From schooling onwards or in junior college or even in a senior college we were taking the notes. So why should we learn the methods of note taking at this point or at this point of schooling? So you can understand that note taking is not only related to the academic world, note taking is also related to your professional world, because many times on many occasions we have to take the notes in a capacity of assistant, in a capacity of a receptionist, in capacity of a manager, in capacity of a associate assistant in a corporate field. So note taking, and therefore we should learn the actual significant or convenient method of note taking. So first method here discussed is outline method. It is a very simple method which enlists the main point and the sub points in a given topic as shown in the following picture. You can see the picture on screen. So see, the outline method is, this is a main topic, this is a subtopic, this is a thought or supporting fact. You can see this is the outline method. Here you are only supposed to note down main points or sub points. You are not taking all the thing that is said by the speaker, or you are not elaborative in note taking. Here you are only supposed to point out significant topics. So here you can see, first thing you are noting, this is the main topic, then subtopic, and then supporting facts or thoughts. So this is what the outline method of note taking. You can understand that this is not a rocket science. This is a very simple thing. We are not supposed to stick to this method only. You can see, because note taking of a one for a person is different from a b person. So you can see, only for the convenience we were learning this method, the outline method. Then see, Cornell method. This is a specific method. This method has three parts. On the left hand you can see a picture on the screen. You can see on the left hand there is a section of main ideas. Here you can see the section of main ideas, keywords and abbreviations. Here you can see the main idea, keywords and abbreviations, and the bottom section there is a short summary, and the bottom section there is a short summary. So this is what you can see, the three things: Q column, notes column and summary column. In Q column you can see main ideas were discussed here, main notes were here written down, chalked out. So this is what we can see, the three parts where the notes were divided into three parts, and it also very convenient for us to mention the things. So the keywords, see, keywords are solids. So an example of Cornell note taking system is, see, solids, solids have a definite shape, have a definite value. Liquids. So liquid is a keyword and you are supposed to write it down, the significant characteristics of liquids. So do not have a defined definite shape, have a definite value. Gases do not have a definite shape, do not have a definite value. Summary: there are three types of matter. So you can understand that this is what the Cornell method of note taking. In one column, the left column, we are supposed to write keywords and significant or main point, and in the second column we have to write the characteristics, facts regarding the keyword, and in the last, in the bottom, we have a summary where we are supposed to summarize all these things. Cornell method is also very important for us because it gives you to elaborate what you have learned in the classroom afterwards in the summary. So, and it also allows you to revisit what you have learned in the classroom. So this is what we learn in a note taking. In note taking we have two methods. One is the outline method and second is a Cornell note taking method. Both methods you can see are not compulsory one. You can use, you can adapt a different method if it is asked to note taking notes. You should adapt your own method. So this is what, because it is your own convenience, it is meant for your own convenience, it is not meant for the convenience of others, and therefore it becomes necessary to understand that these two methods. So we also learn the example. See the task here. Listen to a classroom lecture on the topic of your choice and try to take the notes considering all the points discussed in the outline method. So here in outline method, what you are supposed to do, you are supposed to point out, choke out, jolt out the significant points, main points or sub points and the facts. See the second one. Here you can go for the task. Go on YouTube. You will have any lecture of your, for example, global warming. If you type a lecture on a global warming on a YouTube, you will have several lectures. You can take notes while using the outline method. So you should do that. Then listen to a classroom lecture on the topic of your choice and try to take the notes considering all the points discussed in the Cornell method. We discuss this Cornell method that this is divided into three parts: main point or main concept, keywords, elaboration, and lastly the summarization. This is what we learn. Third is listen to various lectures available on the internet and try to take notes following any of the method you have studied in this module. So it is also very easy, you can do it at your home. Then do this activity in a group and compare your notes with your fellow participants. This we cannot do now, but all the three, 1, 2 and 3 tasks we can do at our home. So this is what a note taking. So we will stop here and continue the same in the next session. The next session we will discuss about note making. Thank you for listening.